I need to sell my house, and it's a daunting thought. I'm already so busy, and I have no idea where to start. I know there are tons of forms involved, staging, and the showings. I think of the crazy world out there, and it may even be dangerous to have strangers coming into my house. But I don't want to spend the money to hire a realtor.
At Coldwell Banker Kennard Real Estate, we understand your concerns. You'll be surprised to know that you may make more money faster and stress-free by working with one of our experts. Give us a call today for a free consultation. 423-414-1002 or 423-284-3233.
Informational, fun,
timely,
relevant.
That's what people are saying about A to Z in real estate. 30 minutes packed with great info for home sellers, buyers, and investors. And now let's welcome your host, Lizzie Cohen.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to A to Z in Real Estate. I'm Lizzie Cohen, and it's a delight to be here today. And as always, I have my co-host with me, Sean Matthews. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lizzie. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Glad to be here.
I know you are. It's a beautiful day.
What are we going to talk about today?
Today, we're going to be talking about what in the world is going on in the real estate market.
Right.
People are some people are frustrated and some people are delighted.
Right.
And those people frustrated are the buyers for good reasons, and then the sellers are delighted.
Exactly.
And so, but the interesting thing is that sellers will become buyers too. So it's a very interesting dynamic right now going on in our market.
Right. We are seeing some, crazy high prices, right, for properties, super high demand. So, it is a little challenging for a buyer out there today. And, we talk about it all the time.
Yes.
What's going on? What have you seen? People knocking on doors, asking about listings. It's getting extreme.
It's getting really, really interesting and unusual. But let's touch on a little bit on what has caused this dynamic in the real estate market, which, by the way, it's happening throughout the country.
Right.
It's not. We always say real estate is local because it is.
Right.
But this particular situation is nationwide, and that is due to a number of events that have been taking place since 2020.
Right.
Namely the COVID-19, which has changed the government's monetary policy. The interest rates have come down.
They sure have.
Right, and the effect of that has been to make housing or the obtaining a loan a lot more feasible for a lot of people. So the demand skyrocketed.
Right.
That's why we have so many buyers in the market, because the interest rates are so low.
Right, that buying power increased. Those buyers are able to get more, and they want more, right?
Right.
With the pandemic, they want that extra office or family room or pool. So we're seeing a lot of demand, on it. Also read an article in Georgia. They said that the builders just can't keep up with the demand.
Yes.
So on the building side, we just can't produce them fast enough. And again, with that economics that you talked about, there's a supply issue too. They're having a hard time getting windows. Factories were closed.
Exactly.
It's a ripple effect.
It is.
Yeah.
The building materials are just prohibitive right now as far as their cost.
Right.
But it's something that we really cannot control. It's what's happening as a result of what's happening in our economy as a country at large. What all the results or the impact of the COVID-19 hitting the country and really at large. But let's talk about the United States. This situation is repeated in every state, especially in the bigger cities.
Right.
There's more demand for housing and there's less houses on the market. Now, reading some report from the National Association of Realtors and about the 2021 housing market forecast, they are saying that things look like they're going to go back to normal.
Okay.
In this year.
Right.
And that is because as sellers discover that their home is worth 5.7% more money than it was worth just last year,
Right.
a lot of people are saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to put my house on. I'm going to get rid of my house,
Right.
make some profit here, and get into another house. So we are all hoping that that is going to be the situation where we're going to see a surge in listings, a surge in the inventory. Because right now, you were telling us this morning in the sales meeting that realtors are out there knocking on doors,
Right.
trying to find a listing for a house to sell for a buyer that
Right.
needs to buy.
Right.
And have you ever seen that in your entire real estate career?
You know, I've seen general prospecting, you know, where people are going to, you know, maybe walk a neighborhood and hang some flyers on doors, but not specific, you know, to, you know, a client, you know, that's looking for a home.
And there's no home.
Yeah, and there's no home. So, you know, they're just going to start walking and knocking. You know, again, you know, if I call a lot of people, you know, we do some warm calling in areas, and, you know, we always offer our services, right? You know, if you're thinking about selling, you know, it's the spring buying season, you know, March is here. People, you know, a lot of folks at the first of the year, they say, yeah, we're going to do it in spring, or we're going to do it after the kids get out of school. You know, we hear that a lot. And that's okay, because we really want to, you know, start working with those folks, like we talked about, staging and, you know, mulching and doing all the things to get their house prepared for the market. And know about it, you know that, hey, I've got, you know, this listing A over here, and I got buyer B over here, and I'm gonna put these two people together. But no, I've never seen where it's that aggressive. You know, I've heard
that
stories.
shortage of inventory.
Right.
It really is unprecedented. And here's some issues that we are encountering, you know, with the people as we talk to people considering selling their home. There is this, I don't know if you've encountered that, but I've heard a couple of potential sellers say, well, you know, I can get more money for my house, which is true, and it's a seller's market heavily. So, you know, forget about staging and forget about, you know, making repairs and putting some money into the selling process.
Right.
What would you tell those sellers?
Well, I think it's a mistake, you know, because we're trying to defend that price, not only, you know, to the market, but to the appraisers and the inspectors. So, you know, sure, we can get you an astronomical figure for your house, but reality's going to set in. We're going to have a home inspection. You know, they're going to look at the house.
Exactly.
They're going to crawl in, under it, over it, through it, turn on every switch. And they're going to find those deficiencies that most sellers know about, right? And we can take care and cure before. And then, you know, the other part is too, very few people buy with cash. So there's going to be an appraisal involved.
Exactly.
And they're going to look at, you know, they're looking at the history snapshot of the last 90 days. You know, what's closed comparable to that home. And, you know, you're not going to have that spike, you know, that's going to, you know, match that sale price. But it does happen. You know, we had, you know, a situation with 15 bids on a house, and it sold for 10% over, you know, the list price, and closed, and appraised. So now that's a comp, you know.
Right.
So the next person that comes,
It's setting a precedent.
that
basically.
benchmark. Yeah, that
A benchmark.
Yep.
But the problem with that, Sean, and sellers need to think about this, and buyers especially.
Right.
You know, right now what we're experiencing is a bubble. Right? Is a huge bubble.
Right.
That eventually, historically, we know that those bubbles are going to burst.
Right.
So what's going to happen 2-3 years down the road when that bubble that we're experiencing bursts, and then you end up with a house you borrowed,
Right.
you know, a certain amount of money that the house 3-4 years later may not
Right.
be worth what you borrowed. So you're upside down.
Sure.
Very, very risky situation right now with the escalation clauses. Let's talk about escalation clauses. We're also seeing those in this environment right now.
Right, and I think they were introduced from the West Coast. You know, people are talking about the California buyers that have come in. You know, we're getting people that are aggressive, and they're making an offer on a property, and they're saying, I'm willing to pay your asking price and $1,000 over any offer that you get up
The
to,
highest,
the
highest.
up to an X amount. So, you know, maybe a $220,000 house, and they're willing to go up to $250,000 by their escalation clause to beat out all other offers. Well, we've had it where we've had 3 escalation clauses in an offer. So does the price just go to infinity? You know, at that
Incredible.
point? Yeah.
Yeah, and see, so we're trying to educate the consumers here, especially buyers, because this situation that we're experiencing right now is unusual.
Right.
It's a bubble
Right.
created by all of the, COVID-19 and the monetary policy, interest rates, at an all-time low.
Right.
People able to afford loans that otherwise they would have not, and
Right.
yet this is not an indefinite situation. This is going to come to an end.
It's temporary.
It's temporary.
And just like you say, okay, what's going to correct it? What's going to, what's the predictive analysis that the National Association of Realtors are saying that's going to correct this inventory issue? So we already know, in March, April, May, June, people are going to push to get their houses on the market. A lot of times we would hear when the kids are out of school, or
Right.
when the weather's better, or whatever their timeline is for it. So we're going to look at all those different dates and those inventories that come. So the demand is so high right now. Really, it'll be an uptick in interest rates that kind of starts to slow that down. Think about gas prices. You see gas prices
Going up.
and then you'll see the big trucks that get 10 miles to the gallon sit. People will stop buying those and they'll look for a Toyota Prius. So they'll that's the same in our market. If interest rates, we were talking about it the other day. I locked in a refinance at 2%. 2% is just crazy.
Absolutely incredible.
I started
Crazy.
when interest rates were 11%. So if you can locate money at 2%, your buying power is so high. Of course, we're in the market to do something. But the other side of it is, just like you said, if interest rates go up a little bit, prices don't sustain that 5.7, there's trouble on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
I still think we've got a year and a half worth of catching up to do with the market, with building more homes and but it is a great time to sell.
But that's the bottom line. Right now,
if you're thinking about selling your house, you'd be crazy not
this
to.
is the time to
Right.
do it. Absolutely.
How many, we've talked about it. You've been in the market 20 years. I've been at 30. How many times have you had conversations with people that said, I should have sold my house back in 2006. The market was at a peak, or 2009 before the bubble crashed. If we were given advice and you had surplus real estate, a rental home, you're renting a house out, it's fully depreciated. Oh my God, why wouldn't you sell it?
Exactly.
I would put it on the market and turn it into a different income stream. There's other methods that they could go to. That's why multifamily is so popular right now. A lot of people are investing in multifamily properties. I talk to a lot of investors that have a couple 1, 2, 3 rental houses. They're selling them all, and they're going to buy 4 units, or they're going to buy 10 units if we can find them. So, again, we're trying to get everybody fit into where they want to be in the market. And there's still a lot of opportunity for people with this market, as crazy as it is.
Absolutely. It's no doubt a seller's market. And as you said, this is the time to sell if you are considering it. We're going to go on a brief pause, and we will be right back, so don't go anywhere.
Coldwell Banker Kennard Realty, serving the local real estate needs since 1974, offering residential, commercial, and land purchase. The market keeps hitting new highs and inventory is low. Maybe it's time to check what your current market value is. Talk to the professionals at Coldwell Banker Kennard. Let them guide you on your next move. Coldwell Banker Kennard, we never stop moving. Leave your mark on the world of real estate. Call them at 423-476-5532. Located 2650 Peerless Road, Northwest.
Well, welcome back to A to Z in Real Estate. Here's Lizzie Cohen, your host. Thank you for tuning in today. And with me is Sean Matthews, helping me in this discussion about what is going on in real estate today.
Right. You said the market was loco or local?
Loco.
Loco.
Muy loco. The market is completely loco.
Right.
Unseen before. I like your Spanish, Sean. You're doing great.
I'm going to catch up.
Yeah. So we're talking about how the interest rates are so low and money is cheap. So there's a lot of people out there borrowing money that before 2020 they were only dreaming about borrowing. Now they're fulfilling that American dream. And there are some studies that suggest that there is a strong link between falling interest rates and higher housing prices.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. It increases the demand. The supply also it's there, a very price invaluable commodity.
Right.
The prices are going to go high, and that's what we're discussing today.
Right.
In the pros and the cons to that higher revenue that sellers can have in their pockets. All the more power to them if you have a house and your house has appreciated in over the last 11 months 5.7%, which is unheard of, is loco.
Right.
Then of course we're going to recommend you to sell.
Right.
On the other hand, the buyers are dealing, yes, on one hand, money is cheap, they can get lower interest rates. Of course, that is only if they have good credit scores.
Sure.
But in a few years, they can find themselves upside down.
Could be. And we look at that, and we hope not. We hope it's a slow, steady climb. 3%, is reasonable. 5.7, almost double. So, we look at, there's cautionary tales, we've seen in the past, where supply, it was, the supply wasn't there for the numbers of buyers. And, we'll see a correction. I think a lot of people will rush to the market to get their home sold. They're starting to hear the press on it, and interest rates, if they go up just a little bit, hopefully we can level everything out.
Hopefully, yeah. And of course, we hope and we pray that we don't get hit by another strain of COVID or any unforeseen event that will have an impact again on the real estate market. But the reality is, right now, as we sit here, buyers' preferences have changed now with the COVID, with the outset of COVID, in that a lot of people are working from home now. So they're looking for, and not only working from home, but doing everything at home, spending more time at home, trying to stay away from big crowds and all of that. So buyers' preferences have changed as well. People want to be home, and they want, therefore, a bigger, bigger home, more space where they can, divide their home into little areas where they can do all kinds of activities that before was not a need or a preference.
Sure. I think of my own home, the very standard floor plan when you walk in the front door, probably considered a dining room, right? Mine has 2 desks in it, a small round table, so, it's a production room, for when I'm working or my wife's working, if my kids are doing a project, so that's going to be important to people. They're going to want to see that flex space that's out there.
More room, definitely.
And land, people, want to have a little bit of, if you walk through Walmart today, they have a huge gardening. There's a big push for gardening right now. I've never seen just aisle after aisle of plant seeds. They used to have like a rack, one or 2 racks. Now there's a whole aisle, and there's every type of plant that's out there. Because people are staying home, they're social distancing, they're enjoying their properties, and that's what COVID really did. People took an inward look at their real estate, and did a checkup and said, I really, I don't need that. I wish I had this, and that pushed them into the market a little bit.
And I got to say, let me interject here, Sean, that is, in my opinion, the silver lining of this whole COVID pandemic that has brought so much pain into so many families. There has been a silver lining in that families are closer together now, as they have been in a way forced to stay home, to spend more time together. Parents are enjoying their children, fathers are getting involved in homework with their kids, spending more time with them, and that has been a blessing. As a blessing in disguise, if you will.
Right. Well, we all took a pause, back in March when it hit in 2020. I had a small condo downtown, and it was too small. There was no way I could do, everything that I do in that size of, unit. So I sold it, and moved to a larger house. And I think it's very, predictive of what's going on in the market.
Yeah.
But we are, we're taking inventory of ourselves, and we're saying, do we really need that? Is this important? And it's you look at Home Depot, they had lines outside there, people wanted to go to Home Depot. They're doing home improvement projects. So that's the other part of our supply issue. People are staying home and they're renovating and staying, and that's something that we hadn't seen as much, because I think society was quick to just jump in, jump out, of a house that wasn't a home, and they just, quickly, say, this one doesn't work, I'll get a different one. But there are people planting roots and, really looking at it and being involved in their community, which is good to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where I grew up, the average person moved every 19 years. So when you got a new neighbor, they were there for the long haul. And, in these markets, it's somewhere between 5 and 7 years people stay in their homes. So I live in a neighborhood very popular with relocations. People like it because of the schools or the locations, or whatever their
amenities.
Reasons, the amenities for that home. And I just kind of look back and chuckle at it, because one person will like this reason and the other person moved because they didn't.
Exactly.
But there's a guy waiting to fill his house as soon
Absolutely.
as he leaves. So
that's how it works.
We definitely still enjoy finding that house for people and getting them in that home, and closing on it and them setting those roots. So it's the heart of what we do.
Yeah. Well, wanted to mention also to our listeners viewers that we provide free consultations.
Sure.
Real estate could be complicated if you are especially a first-time buyer and even a first-time seller. And so we understand that, and we are happy to spend an hour with people, with our clients or potential clients, to explain to them, what's going on, give them advice, show them the selling and the buying process.
Right, and we talked about it all this week. The trends are a little bit different. Inventory is squished, so we're having a lot of people buy land, right? And they're
Exactly.
They're going to build their dream. And that's a specialty, product. The financing is specialty.
Absolutely.
The different environmental studies and engineering that you'll do with land. And again, that's a free consultation. We'll share our list of resources for that. But it's a serious investment, just like a house. So we offer that. I also do business evaluations. So if somebody has a business or a building, we sell businesses as well, and you don't really hear about it a lot. But we sell business opportunities where people might buy themselves a job. They were squeezed out of COVID. Lost their job. I can think of a few different
Mm-hmm.
businesses that I've shown recently. Laundromats, gyms, different business opportunities that people can buy. Also, evaluate warehouse, industrial space. We cover that side of it too, and you want to keep people in mind. We are there for that consultation. Where do you start? Your first start is a conversation. Find somebody that you trust, on that journey. And again, the evaluation process is easy for us, right? We can say, here's what's happened, here's about what your value is. But tell me, what's important to you.
Exactly.
What
your goals are.
What are your goals, and how do you see this playing out, and what are the biggest challenges that you think you'll face? So, again, it's really that question and answer session, where we do that deep dive with folks.
It's so important to have that conversation.
Yeah,
it's not just a matter of buying and selling. There's just so much more into it. So please, Sean, give your cell phone number to the listeners, because of course we have an audience that's watching on Facebook.
Okay, sure. You can always reach me on my cell phone, 423-284-3233. Easiest, text, call, whatever. What about yours? What's your contact information?
My contact is 423-414-1002. And again, you can call or text if you prefer, to set up a free consultation appointment, or just to a listing appointment. We have our listing presentations. where we sit down with the seller and show them exactly from A to Z what we are going to be doing in order to sell that property.
Right.
So again, 423-414-1002. Now, we started this program by saying real estate is local.
Right.
So let's talk about a little bit about Cleveland, Tennessee, where we live and work in
Beautiful Cleveland, sure.
beautiful Cleveland.
Yeah.
What's going on in Cleveland? How many properties for sale are right now?
Well, and that's crazy. So we just pulled up active, everybody. So we have River Counties Association of Realtors is our hub for data, right? That's
Right.
where
Our MLS.
our MLS, multiple listing service, that's where your home would be showcased. And we pulled up all actives, and we had a whopping 239 homes available. So
Unheard of.
And we have almost 700 realtors, out there, selling real estate. So for only having 239 homes, there's a supply issue there, right? So, but don't worry, we get new listings every day, and with a professional real estate agent, that's something that a benefit that you would get. Is you're on an automatic search, right? You're gonna get right to your cell phone. We were just talking about it with some of our younger agents. Right to your cell phone, new listing pops up. You're gonna get an alert. So
Exactly.
and we kid around. We say you don't really have time to sleep on it, right? If you sleep on it, you're not gonna get to sleep in it. So you've really got to make
That's right.
this quick decision. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Hoping that the seller didn't cut any corners. They got really nice, photos done on it, and these people have a great, idea of what the home looks like. And as a seller, be prepared. We want to let you know people are going to want to see it every 30 minutes. There's going to be a lot of people,
And that's part of what we offer when we sit down
Sure.
in our consultation.
Yeah.
We try to prepare our sellers as to what to expect in this process. It's exciting,
Right.
but it's going to be a little bit disruptive too.
A little bit.
And then,
A little bit.
in their lives, that house has to be showing ready
Right.
at all times until we get the offers. And the offers with an S at the end
Yeah.
in this market are going to come, hopefully, very quick, but it is a time of a little bit unusual, a parenthesis, if you will, in your routine.
There's a reward though, right?
There is a reward.
So the reward is that sale to list ratio. So you looking at these statistics. Right now we're averaging 99.3% of asking price. I've never seen that number.
Yes.
Ever. So again, if you do your work, the house is ready. You set that price. You can pretty much anticipate, you're going to get that price.
If not more.
If not more. And that's
Yep.
that's what is keeping that number so high, is there are, many going over list price right
Over.
now. So, it's an exciting time, but you're going to know how many dollars you're going to walk away with so you can make that next move. And I've got people that, are buying the land, they're starting to work on it. They don't want to miss the market. So they're going to go ahead and sell, and they're going to rent, while they build their house,
Right.
because they want to get it done. So there's a lot of other ways that we can, house them. They might have to stay with you,
Or with you.
Right. I've got
Yeah.
a big house, so but realistically, I've asked somebody just yesterday. I said, this is going to sell pretty fast, and you bought land. What are you going to do? They already have found a rental,
Yeah.
and they've already taken care of that. And it was a lot of a burden for me, or relieve a burden for me to, I was going to worry about what they were going to do. They're like, we've got it taken care of.
Yeah.
A family friend has a rental, blah, blah, blah. And again, think it was almost a year ago that the tornadoes hit, in Chattanooga. There were 1,000 families, displaced.
Yes,
So
I remember.
They're rapidly rebuilding all those houses. So those people are moving back into their homes. Those rentals are coming available, and there's new construction that's just at the foot.
It's ramping up.
Yeah, it's ramping up. So
It's-
again, if tradespeople from out of the area, it's a great place to come as a tradesman. Electricians, framers. There's a lot of jobs in this area. So, when we talk about Cleveland and our local market, I say, come on here. It's a good place. You can still find a home. We're still going to find you, something that's nice. Interest rates are never going to be better. So
Never.
Yeah.
And for our Cleveland home owners, again, give us a call. This is an unprecedented time to sell your property at a very, very good return, and we'll give you a free consultation. We are in a programs to come. We are going to have a highlight of Cleveland, Tennessee. It's one of the best kept secrets.
I think so.
Definitely to live, and people are discovering it across the country. Especially people on the West Coast are moving to Cleveland. I just got a referral from a colleague in Colorado, or a couple that's moving from Denver, Colorado to Cleveland, Tennessee. And I asked them, well, why are you doing this? And he said, you really have to ask me if you live there?
Right.
I said, no, I know exactly why. So one last comment again is, we're here to help you, to be a resource. Even if you are not sure that you want to sell your property, just call us and sit down with us. We'll have a discussion.
Yeah, it could be 1, 3, 5 years from now.
We're running out of time.
Oh.
So sorry, everybody. Thank you so much for your attention. 5 seconds to go. God bless you, and we'll see you next Saturday right here.